Tall woman with a body like a gazelle. Reach high for the sky, mama taught her well. Praise the gods, any shape, any form. Conjure up a storm cloud. It rains, it pours, let it fall down. Spirit dance, Cherokee, Blackfoot. Put a pound to the ground. 2 step is all it took. Hey, I used to run from the sound of the drums. Cause spirit will hear it, the spirit will come. African dance. Rhythm of the people be the sounds of life. But we should dance, got me moving in the trance. Circle motion got me going and going. African dance. I used to run from the sound of the drums. The spirit would hear it, the spirit would come. I never felt this feeling before, with my body moving around like it already know. I just release, let go. All them burdens I've been bearing, I ain't carrying no more. I reach high, feel low. Let your chakras open up, let the feeling in your soul get high, feel low. Let your chakras open up, let the feeling in your soul. African Move, make your body just move, make your body just move, make your body just move. So for me, y'all can do live enjoy. My Johnny, TV vibe, what the drums play. Crossing over in the forest of the moonlight. Feel the rhythm of the symphony, the sounds of life. But we should dance, got me moving in the trance. Circle motion got me going and going. African dance, African dance, African dance, hey. African dance, African dance, African dance, hey. African dance, African dance, African dance, hey. African dance, African dance, African dance. Just move, make your body just move, make your body just move, your body just move.
DJ Struggle, smoke something.
Yeah, we conjuring them things, ain't gon' never be the same. I'll be pouring out these flames, calling soldiers out by name. Yeah, you thought it was a joke, thought it was them folks, thought they wouldn't listen. That ain't what you spoke, that ain't what it's for. We calling down, calling all around. Yeah, we catching crowns, plant your seeds and fertile ground. It's the realest ever found. Yeah, I'm getting ghosts. Blame the endo smoke, blame the cuss we poke, blame it on the feeling. If you feel it, then let's go. Yeah, I don't know how I lost control so quick, but I'm quick to get with it, and I swear just to feel it. Oh shit, I'm going under. I'm going under. Oh shit, I'm going under. I'm going under. I'll be going in the zone, going in the zone, going in it, going in the zone, going in the zone, going. Yeah, it got me in the trance, 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 going in the zone, going in the zone, going in it, going in the zone, going in the zone, going. Yeah, it got me in the trance, got me in the trance, got me in the trance, got me in the trance. Oh, just excuse my eyes. Yo, I think I'm stumbling. Yo, I think I'm petrified. Now that I'm wondering why I'm not surprised. I think I zoned before, zoned it till I get Ride, feel like the avatar, having talks with spirit guides. Whirlwinds, I've been flying till I land again. Get your feet on solid ground, you on the zone, I'll show you how. Just release your body, move your body to the side. Say, I don't know how I lost control so quick, but I'm quick to get with it, and I swear it's just this feeling. Oh shit, I'm going under. Hey, I'm going under. Oh shit, I'm going under. Hey, I'm going under. I be going in the zone, going in the zone, going in the zone, going in the zone, going there. It got me in the train, got me in the trance, got me in the train, got me in the trance, going in the zone, going in the zone, going in the zone, going in the zone, going there. It got me in the train, got me in the trance, got me in the train, got me in the trance, going in the zone, going in the zone, going in the zone, going in the zone, going get it got me in the trance, got me in the trance, got me in the trance.
Man, you seen that bag of quarters? Hurry up and get out of here. Better hurry up. Don't know I'm coming. That's all good, though.
Rolling through them Cali Mountains, on the way to Adelanto. Through the smoking fog, I never missed a call. Night sweats just the day before, but wouldn't let the window close, cause opportunities could quickly stop. Extension of the system got the whole prison on lock. I give him my ID, he give me funny looks. He wonder what it took, I tell him who I'm here to see. Matula Shakur, your prisoner of war. Been down since 86, yeah, I can't wait to see my people free fly. Doing time, so I'm paying dues when it's time to ride. Tell me, what would you choose to give your life? He gave his life for me and for you. For them RBGs, for them red and blues. Just imagine walk a day in his shoes. Muddy water alligators still fly, but they can't fade us. Stay down. My niggas stay down. That's why we stay down. For all them prisoners of war, we keep going. My niggas stay down. My people stay down. My soldiers stay down. To all them prisoners of war, they come home, now check. Say this beef with the Aryans. If you wanna put in work, you rock with Mexicans. Black Mafia, Para La Familia. Double-headed snake, nigga, we will never fall. Double up the come up, nigga, we forever ball. The currency is crimson, eye for an eye. Say they put us in these prisons so some conquer divide. This beast been living way too long, so why should we try? Check. Feel like Moses in the wilderness. Cyanide, follow me, you see we can't survive. Hey, called it a legion of men, legendary Lucifer. We murder many by hand, so give your life. He gave his life for me and for you. For them RBGs, for them red and blues. Just imagine walk a day in his shoes. Muddy water alligators still fly, but they can't fade us. Stay down. My niggas stay down. That's why we stay down. For all them prisoners of war, we come home, now check. God bless the earth, God bless the word, bless it the myth. We know the struggle, and we know the pain. One day we'll win, born again. Tell me, what would you choose to give your life? He gave his life, your life for you. For them RBGs, for them red and blue. Just imagine walk a day in his shoes. Muddy water alligators still fly, but they can't fade us. Stay down. That's why we stay down. That's why we stay down. To all them prisoners of war, we come home, my soldiers stay down.
They charged me with 6 armored truck robberies, the liberation of Asada Shakur, using illegally gained funds to finance camp for black children in Mississippi, to send material aid to freedom fighters of Zambia, and to finance public lands organizational work, and to put a acupuncture clinic in Harlem. Were part of the so-called enterprise I was accused of financing with illegally gained funds.
And what were you convicted of?
I was convicted of every single charge in the indictment. I was convicted of every single charge in the indictment.
Peace and Black Power, family. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge One with the Science Late Night Edition. After Midnight Edition, we're here to pay homage and ode to those warrior ancestors and those that are still amongst us that possess that warrior spirit. We are rolling in to the whirlwind. This is the whirlwind celebration. It's going down today. It starts today in a couple hours. And this will be the dominant force, the dominant trajectory, the whirlwind for the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you still have a chance right now. You still have a chance right now. Let me just show y'all. www.dtc1.org. If you don't have your tickets, you still got a chance to get your tickets right now. You still have a chance to get your tickets right now. 2 ticket minimum. Get the tickets right now. www.dtc1.org. Get the special. Get 2 ticket minimum with the special twice. That Harrier shotgun. That Harrier shotgun has been released at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's here. It's out. It's available. www.ufasafo.com. I got it. I will play it, but we got an official listening party tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Blue Dance Radio. You understand what I'm saying? So in the ode to our elders, in the ode to our ancestors, an ode to our elders, an ode to our peer group, an ode to our future generations, you owe it to them. You owe it to everybody I just named to get your tickets today, right now. www.dtc1.org. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You see some of the faces that will be in the place on the screen right here. 100 years of the whirlwind. 100 years yesterday. Yesterday. It's still yesterday on some of the coasters. 100 years yesterday. In New York. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey gave us this visionary marching orders, 1920. August 13th, 1920, we owe it. We owe it to put ourselves in position, to put our families in position, to put our future generations in position. This conference right here will set the pace for the next 100 years. 5 continents converging. Africans from all over the planet, literally all over the planet, will be in the place. Get your tickets. It's going down. It's going down. Like, if you don't feel that insurrection coursing through your veins, you don't belong here. It's Black August. Everybody doesn't qualify. So, I got some jams. I got some stuff. There's some things happening. You're going to hear a little sample from some of our warrior scholars that will be in the building and some of our ancestors. We owe it to them just hearing their voice and their relentless pursuit after us. This relentless pursuit after us to stand and be in that number of those that will continue to keep this legacy of resistance, this legacy of rebellion alive. Yesterday, 1831, August 13, old Prophet Nat, the immortal Prophet Nat, saw the first sign for rebellion. And 8 days later, on August 21st, he carried it out. The Haitian Revolution. And by signs from nature, that rebellion, that resistance to tyranny and oppression was natural. It came out. Understand that. Understand you are owed and duty to the red, to the black, to the green. Look at this young sister who's holding the flag. We owe it to her. We owe it to the African woman. We owe it to the African child. We owe it to the African man. We owe it to the African family to stand strong in that spot. www.dtc1.org. 2 ticket minimum. Go get those tickets now. Go get them right now. So let me go back to my mission, okay? I just wanted to greet the family because it's still knowledge one was the science, but this is the focus of the science right here. This is for the arts and science. This is for the scientists. This is for the warriors. You go back to that old film, Who Are the Warriors? Let me just show y'all this real quick. Look at the Black Riders Liberation Party. What flag do they have? Marching in the battle. You see that? What flag do they have? I was talking about it yesterday. You could judge a nation by its flag. Look at the Black Riders Liberation Party. Look at our war general. Up front. Not behind. Marching on the objective. Prepared to give his life and to take a life. Understand that. This engagement that's going on here and what's happening. Okay? The voice of our ancestors. Look. That bridge in between. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, peace be upon him. Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, peace be upon him. Al-Hajj Malik Al-Shabazz, brother Omar Wali, affectionately known to the world as Minister Malcolm X, right there on the horizon. Look, that is the sun rising on an empire that would never set. Okay? So understand what's at stake. www.dtc1.org. Go get your tickets. We got the motivation. We got the representation. We got everything. Let me get back to it.
May I say something to you to give you a true knowledge of yourself and life, so that the same glory and success attained by other men who understand themselves may be yours? Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him.
I'd rather be with Garvey than to pledge allegiance to this wicked system. I'm sorry. This country, I the land of liberty, not hardly. Said I was 3/5, got me shackled, then you scarred me. So I'd rather be with Garvey. I'd rather be with Garvey than to pledge allegiance to this wicked system. I'm sorry. This country, I the land of liberty, not hardly. Said I was 3/5, got me shackled, then you scarred me. So I'd rather be with Garvey. I pledge allegiance to my flag. RBG, it was given to we in 1920 by the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I'm a Garveyite, I was born to fight. Been dealing with the wicked cracker all my life. After all we've been through, when the ancestors to what they got coming to a man, it's only right. I'll be mighty race, accomplish what you will. I'll build with the real, still sharp and still. I'm an African wild, though we move in the military fashion, then we go with for the kill. Rock BMC and Tar Heel. RBG, there's no fear. And we tight like the black fist, so do it like this. Ball up and raise it up in the air. I'd rather be with Garvey than to pledge allegiance to this wicked system. I'm sorry. This country, I the land of liberty, not hardly. Said I was 3/5, got me shackled, then you scarred me. So I'd rather be with Garvey. I'd rather be with Garvey than to pledge allegiance to this wicked system. I'm sorry. This country, I the land of liberty, not hardly. Said I was 3/5, got me shackled, then you scarred me. So I'd rather be with Garvey.
This music was made for the soul. Elevate your mind, yes, gone and take control. No more chains and whips. We do it for more than some chains and whips. The bigger picture, taking our mind back for them shifts. Band together and rise up. No time for running lips. Oh, goon, please come clear the way before we load these clips. And we was all with hammers. We still too legit to quit. Got too big to even fit in the box. Try to put us where we don't fit. Musa.
So reflect and think that you were created for some purpose other than exhibiting malice toward your neighbor or fellow men of your own race. What a pity it is that we cannot stand united without a written law. There is no written law compelling other races to stand together. They are brought together by the gentle touch of nature. The unwritten law of nature causes them to stand together on all occasions. So wheresoever you find them in the field, that one gentle touch of nature causes them to stand together, if need be, die together. But with the black man, you can preach to him from the pulpit. You lecture from the platforms, from the byways and the hedges. The spirit of cooperation, but he will not cooperate.
RBG with the paisleys. Lotus flower coming out the muck, right over left, I resurrect daily. Embrace the power, kept feelings tucked, and our set went in and remade me. The flags are thrown, you got stripes to sit, then go ahead, you don't, you few daisy. Trying to perpetrate, I let the weak debate, the gods execute. Square biz, 9 about 4 till I'm off the grid. Niggas wanna live how Garvey lived, but they prepare to elevate like Garvey did. I ain't no exception, you know, like I know we each other's reflection. We done been here before, now the goal is for us to rebuild a connection. It's past talk. Time to crawl, build your muscle, then walk. You heard the call, nigga. It's past talk. Time to crawl, build your muscle, then walk. You heard the call, nigga. See, niggas hear the call. Men learn to crawl. Elevate the gods, then walk tall, and then be the all. In that order. Tahir RBG, repack nation the situation. RBG for life. Chill.
Taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to heat the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I gather thoughts in abundance, travel with substance, echo the vision without bluffing, make no assumption. I come to remove the junk that they pump that leave your mental stuck in a bunch of propaganda. The Highlander, ducking and dodging the lens camera, never promoting Malcolm X, just Tony Montana. Black babies grow up selling dope and holding hammers. Mamas in clubs and daddies got 20s in the slammer. Granny is old, hoping the child missed the danger. 40 Glock pop top if you test the anger. Product of self-hate, no escape, a lone ranger. Just GD folks, vice lords and Blackstone. VDs repping they sets, 4 corner hustlers and black souls. EBT cars and clubs looking for the white gold. Young queens prostituting for nice clothes. Young kings kill each other for tough roles. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. Public schools produce fools or black zombies. Children inherit the streets, joining the block armies. Systematically, we see the tragedy. It's a travesty to watch the day ones fall so rapidly. You can hear the helicopter blades cut the air. Sounds of sirens, shots fired, we stop and stare. Grab the gear and run towards the screams and tears. Hoping the best, but expecting our deepest fears. I watch the ghetto from my project steps. Graffiti cover the halls, the wall displays what the building rep. Yet and still I study books like the Black Messiah. How my people built the empires and birth writers. Throughout the day I read the books by Claude McKay, Dr. Clark and Kevin Gates. Watching Shaka Zulu on old VHS tapes. This was a way to escape from the world I had to face. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. You either focus or fold is what the elders say. And if you don't learn quick, your ass will fade away. Drinking on the 1738 without a chase. We skip school to shoot dice in alleyways. Move packs and daydream of being paid. Unaware of the mental change, the city slave. Looking over shoulders for jump outs while getting blazed. 3/5 of a human is what the pilgrims say. I try to get it info, but you know niggas play. They try to mimic the gimmicks and what the public say. But I'm the runaway master, didn't know he got away. I be the dream that Cooper yearned to see one day. Putting a smile on Harriet's face to tell her thanks. I paint the mental and simple over this instrumental. My pencil resembles struggles when feeling sentimental. No accidental, I grew up knowing my fundamentals. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. This be the pain that we feel upon the day-to-day. When you grow up in the streets and know no other way. Searching for the path, but the math don't seem to add that way. Looking for the strength, but the strength is being locked away. First things first, black power before I start the verse birth. I die before I hit reverse curse. Being silent don't really work. Welcome to the mental of a man from the universe. Self-sufficient be the tension I'm afflicting. In addition, my position keep tradition, no restriction. Fuck division, repetition is the mission. I'm omitting no prescription, all religion, superstition, holding on to master vision. Woo! Welcome to a new age. Black power, motherfucker, take it 2 ways. Watch the cowards line up like it's suit day. It's revolutionaries on the rise. What do you think? My people so immaculate. What's up, African? Take a look around. Better days is happening. If you ain't talking about liberation, you imagine it. Freeman on the track. Breaking fuck the signs like a zodiac. Once you realize we at war, ain't no going back. It's art beat. G's on the scene, ain't no more than Jack. Shade of that. If you miss the vibes, then just play it back. It's Trap Up. Me and Free Man about to lay it flat. New Black Odyssey, a billion, ain't no faking that. The Trap of my yacht grassroots, now we up the back. Yeah.
This a race we gotta win, no, we ain't gon' lose. Real black genius, ain't no fools. Really work time, so you gotta keep it cool. Back against the wall, so it's time to make a move. Drive up, 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 drive up. Black power in this motherfucker. Black power in this motherfucker. Royal lifestyle been that way since the beginning. First and the last, we done overcame plenty. Full of black pride, ain't nothing you can give me. Real black God, ain't nothing you can tempt me with. Cause I'm really rich, full of melanin. The color of my skin make me one with the wind. The earth, the dirt, the one, the nature. God is queen, you the creator. Who the savior, better be you. We ain't looking in the sky, but we looking for the truth. If it ain't about the youth, really what the youth? God in the flesh, yeah, we the living proof. Stomping in my boots, feet stand on the ground. I feel it in the air, plus I see it all around. New black order, finally turned around. Drive with hey Ruth, see your bill, shut them down. It's a race, we gotta win, no, we ain't gon' lose. Real black genius, ain't no fools. Really work time, so you gotta keep it cool. Back against the wall, so it's time to make a move. Drive up, 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 drive up. Black power in this motherfucker. Black power in this motherfucker. Even when my back against the wall, I can see it all. Play dumb, never been a dummy, I just play it off. Listen to the language that they speak and see the overall. And recognize the comment for the Vic, even throw the ball. Hecking all, too much information to let you see me fall. Too much arrogance inside your head to see I'm testing y'all. The art of war, recognize opponent for you draw the sword. Bottom board, intellect reject what you marching for. Bringing truth to the youth, the only thing I'm fighting for. Plenty more, eating through the flesh like a carnivore. Black African, take it deeper than the seafloor. See the score, the whole track bumming like a C4. We bumming like the C4, banging for our people. Take it so back, that's a fact, we the repo. Men get it in, don't play up pretend. We been from the start, we gon' be here to the end. On my life, on my soul, liberation go, won't ever stop. We straight up out the go, back against the wall, but we still standing tall. Try but hey rule, we gon' ball, never fall. This a race, we gotta win, no, we ain't gon' lose. Real black genius, ain't no fools. Really work time, so you gotta keep it cool. Back against the wall, so it's time to make a move. Drive up, 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 drive up. Black power in this motherfucker.
Some of you say, but it's not the white man, it's just the system. It's not the white man, it's the system. If we can change the system, we gotta change the system. You sound like a fool.
Yo, I'm sick of the dumb shit. Police circle the blocks, and our money is what fund this. Population into position is being unfit. Obligation into the realm of being armed quick. Put me on the blacklist for talking black shit. Real spill, killer bee kill, come from packed ships. Uncle Tom's with the symbols doing backflips. Freedom ain't the toll on the road, just some act shit. Heart racing, separation from the Caucasian. If they really running with truth, they all pacing. Stop, drop, and roll. The devil want my soul, but I'm quick on my toes. There'll never be a game over. Psychologically, I stand by my Sankofa. I shake, my mental don't play. And I never joke around about my motherfucking ancestors' way. I shake to the kings and the queens. Red, black, and green on the scene, nah, man. I can never hit reverse. My people not cursed. Black power race first. I shake to the kings and the queens. Red, black, and green on the scene. Nah, man. I can never hit reverse. My people not cursed. Black power race first. Yeah, 400 years ago, I wreak havoc. Beat tragic to automatic, see static. Reparations ain't good enough. Of engagement, I'm ready to face it, there's no replacement. Black power, motherfucker, what do you say? When the talking's all done, how will you play? Facebook and Twitter got you looking real hard, but if the war kick off, you will fall apart. You internet hard, feeling the feeling, I'm willing to kill and I don't need a spark. Peeling the ceiling, my dealers, I never call them God. Fuck the white man religion, I'm already scarred. I disregard his practices by being sharp. If I don't stand for something, I'll die for nothing. Ain't no bluffing, I'm bucking, no discussion. Get the running when I'm dumping. Ain't no ducking, AR barrel thumping, resting on my shoulders. Shake to the kings and the queens, red, black, and green on the scene. Nah, man. I can never hit reverse. My people not cursed. Black power race first. I shake to the kings and the queens, red, black, and green on the scene. Nah, man. I can never hit reverse. My people not cursed. Black power race first. Yeah, true view. I found a new clue. I was sitting in the basement studying voodoo. I want revenge for the ones in the trees and the spirits in the woods of the ancestors on the leaves. I see a lot of niggas want attention, never jump over the gate. They just straddle fences, going back and forth with their own kind to cause tension. Open hand, Sandra Bland. I hope the hogs listening. Flow cleaner than some duck nuts. Pump up, get your head lump, peckerwood stump, sick and tired of them slave ways. Them before A days, still got you in the days like a maze, full of rage from a page. I was handpicked. Nonsense, you can hear the bomb tick. Conflicts contradict what they predict. On the slick, what I inflict ain't restrict to the Psalms. Get the drift, I shake. To the kings and the queens, red, black, and green on the scene. Nah, man. I can never hit reverse. My people not cursed. Black power race first. I shake. To the kings and the queens, red, black, and green on the scene. Nah, man. I can never hit reverse. My people not cursed. Black power race first.
You haven't stopped the system. You haven't stopped the spider web. Until you deal with the spider. Until you deal with this no good beast. Until you deal with this bastard, this cracker. Until you deal with this devil.
Administrative leave. Protests immediately erupted after the shooting with demonstrators marching on the Ferguson police station. On Sunday night, thousands crammed the street where Brown was shot to hold a candlelight vigil. Afterward, a small group of people reportedly carried out acts of vandalism at several local stores and on vehicles, smashing windows and stealing.
They told me hit them with the God flow. Listen to my gospel, the beat chanting hallelujah to me, my survival. But I'm focused on my aggression levels higher. You can hear it in my voice, the sound of being sick and tired of the mistreatment of the ones that look like us. This is not the reason Rosa sat on that bus. Over 60 years later, might not always show they hate. You still can see it in their faces when they look at us. Like I ain't supposed to be here, I'm an overachiever. They won't look me in the eyes, how they really feel inside. These is whites on it, boy. We don't serve no nigga pie. Wanna kill us genocide, population minimized. You gon' have to take these bullets till you think you're taking mine. I ain't racist, I'm just watching out the corner of my eye. I can still see it clear. It still exists in 2032. It don't really matter what they get. They was bred like that, full of hate. Let me know you really mean it, fucking say it to my face. Cause you acting like we hung your ancestors, tossed their bodies in the flame. Use babies as alligator beta, made them on stage. Force your Bible on my people, still they mentally enslaved. Show them a buck, gon' break if they ever misbehave. So you better off staying in your place, play a safe net, turn on my brain. I'm trying to help that revolutionary mind stay awake. I'm just here to spark the flame, set it ablaze. I'm just setting the stage, Armageddon beginning. So keep your weapon off, safe, trying to survive in the present. We need a future for our babies and we tired of oppression. So put your fist up in the air, let them know we don't care. No, we don't give a fuck no more. So we don't give a fuck no more. Said if it's war that you want, it's war that you get. I hear the guns click, let the bodies hit the floor. I'm coming.
Protests have broken out near St. Louis, Missouri over a police shooting that killed an unarmed African-American teenager. 18-year-old Michael Brown was shot to death in the town of Ferguson Saturday afternoon after being confronted by police. But two witnesses provided a sharply different account, with one saying Brown was shot with his arms up as he tried to flee the officer's fire.
That words, he said, get the F on the sidewalk. And we told the officer we was not but a minute away from our destination. Police chased after the guy. He ran for his life. They shot him, let them know he was compliant and that he was unarmed, and they shot him twice more, and he fell to the ground and died.
You gotta stand for something and you gon' fall for anything. Feel the power of the people, I need all y'all energy. They say all lives matter, but I don't feel victory. No, I still get our history, enslaved us mentally and beat on us physically. This is a manifestation. I think I had an epiphany, supernatural, think that I can solve the mystery. I feel the ancestors
Newton laws, I'll alert you, no inertia ever stop the symphony. Never ever. This is a classic composition that I've been in the war when it come in and take a seat and have a listen. Nation building is what the mission is to all my people benefit. Black love equals chemistry, that's very simple to explain. I woke up with change on my heart and didn't walk Vessi on my brain. If I let me took it or respect it, cause if not, then it might get you shot. Diabetics and the medic get me shot. Like defibrillators when they hear the message, tell me I be going in. I ain't looking for no extra, they ain't stopping till we make it on my body late breakfast. Shout out to my comments down in Texas. Headed for Detroit to catch this flight and make connections with my brethren. Find a way to channel this aggression. The bigger picture, put it in proper perspective, place it in between percussions, plan in place. Power to the people, politics address.
Michael Brown had recently graduated from high school and was due to begin college course.
Bread for the blood, black for the people, green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. All power to the people, divided we fall, united we stand. Bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. Got my fence held high, yelling out black power. Make sure they understand. Welcome to my world. It's restricted, super confidential. Caught up in this brainstorm. About to make it rain torrential. Major quantities. Melanation essence so essential. Heavy is the head that holds the crown. I'm feeling presidential royalty on my king shit. Shout out to Sacramento. God body, heavenly celestials. Respect the rhythm. Gotta give my all. Yes, until there's nothing left to give. And no, this ain't that poison on the radio. They feed your children. No. It's brick, the foundation, and I'm building something great for our people. Stop, tune in, and just listen. Feel the power from the vocals that I give you with crescendos. Change the tempo. The movement is in motion, monumental, legendary status. I be kicking knowledge like it's tempo. Classes in session, it's between the instrumental. They can't stop us from ascending. It's official, it's official. If you black, then raise your fist up. You ain't with us, you against us. Come on. Bread for the blood, black for the people. Green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. All power to the people, divided we fall, united we stand. Bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. Got my fence held high, yelling out black power. Make sure they understand this mission that I'm on. I swear sometimes it feel impossible. I ask myself, what's my other choices? This ain't optional. Somebody gotta do it. So I teach them about these obstacles in life. Fuck the justice system. War is psychological on everything I love. They can't stop me once the profits grow. Military rifle supervision with the sniper scope. Federales watching got me underneath their microscope. They want false move. They in riot gear outside your door. Lockdown, home of the brave. Just the land of the free, but they treat us just like slaves. You don't own that property. If those taxes ain't get paid, what you say? First Amendment, watch your mouth. Bustin' in like fuck your couch. Move strategic, even though I'm weeded, feeling so prestigious. I'm a leader, please believe it. I'm a superhuman being. It's a special dedication. I'm just here to raise vibration. If they don't wanna give us our respect, we gotta take it. Gotta bread for the blood, black for the people, green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people. Green for the land, bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. All power to the people, divided we fall, united we stand. Bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. Bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. Bread for the blood, black for the people, and green for the land. Got my fence held high, yelling out black power. Make sure they understand. Bread, black, green, red, black, and 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 green.
Well, I was always curious, and then this is when I knew something was wrong. Won the Olympic gold medal in Rome, Italy. Olympic champion, the Russian standing right here, and the Pole right here. Is Poland considered a communist country?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm defeating America's so-called threats or enemies. And the flag is going, dun, 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 dun. I'm standing so proud. Dun, 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 dun. And I done whooped the world for America. Dun, 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 dun. I took my gold medal, thought I'd invented something. I said, man, I know I'm going to get my people freedom there. I'm the champion of the whole world, Olympic champion. I know I can eat downtown now. And I went downtown that day, had my big old medal on and went to restaurants. At that time, black things weren't integrated. Black folks couldn't eat downtown. And I went downtown, I sat down, and I said, a cup of coffee, hot dog. The lady said, we don't serve Negroes. I'm so mad. I said, I don't eat them either.
Sometimes you gotta bleed just to know you alive. Soak it all in, take a deep breath. You want peace from the water, someone must die. You know the truth already, can't cheat death. No. Said what they expect. It's only so long you can think a man gon' take less. One day, y'all will awake and take back what's sauce. Set it back straight, I confess. We just want unity in our community. Black business opportunities. The change must first start with you and me, and that's what we gon' make it for my eulogy. They keep asking why UMC. The youth need this like the church need Jesus. Recognize the truth when it's coming through your speakers. Present this to you, it might make you uneasy. It's hard looking in the mirror, knowing everything that you living by really just a lie. That's why I'm going hard on this mission, reaching out to all people, resurrecting black pride. He tell us to doing the same. Let's change up the game, free up our minds, fire some land, buildings will rise. Black economics as we socialize, it's so powerful. Our minds manifested. No longer do our brothers have a death wish. The plan is progression, straight to the top. If you don't believe, then start heading for the X. That away. I swear to you, this feeling is effects. I woke up and had excellent breakfast, ready for aggression. So I had X. Give me more. Can't stop me from delivering this mess. Black pride flowing all through my veins. I think it's time to change my name like Cash. Do anything to protect my family. Got me standing by this window like Malcolm. By any means, yeah, I'm ready for the madness. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. My reaction. Put your fist in the sky. Who's ready to collide? Time for some action. Black pride flowing all through my veins. I think it's time to change my name like Cash. Do anything to protect my family. Got me standing by this window like Malcolm. By any means, yeah, I'm ready for the madness. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. My reaction. Put your fists in the sky. Who's ready to collide? Time for some action. Come on. It don't matter how you slice. Cause this proves it don't matter. You the nice. Best at your craft. I know that this is a tough pill to digest, but when you think about it, you're only blind to it if you really want to be. I'm the only black face hearing this, feeling is a comfort. The only one. Look at how they look at me. I can tell that inside they really judging me. Feeling like a wild lion on the loose. The way they eyes follow me around the room. I assumed everything would be cool. They told me we was equal plus I'm the champ too. Surely that would make a difference. That's what I figured. But really, I'm still just a nigga. Whether Muhammad or Cassius, it really don't matter. Your name don't make you no bigger. No, it tell I swear to you, man, it still feel like that. Your money don't matter cause your skin still black. Stereotype negative feedback. Tell me y'all lives matter, but I'm feeling detached from America. My roots is lost, they enslaved us. Remove pure melanin from the equator, the motherland, the creator. Now they telling me to go back where I came from, but my ancestors, that wasn't the choice that they gave. No, it was, so I'm staying right here. I ain't going nowhere. It's brick, bitch, about to build a foundation. Revolutionary knockers running out of patience. Something gotta give, guess it's up to us to change it. And this is a disclaimer, it might get dangerous. Black fist, this to reawaken. Black pride flowing all through my veins. I think it's time to change my name like Cash. Do anything to protect my family. Got me standing by this window like Malcolm. By any means, yeah, I'm ready for the madness. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. My reaction. Put your fists in the sky, who's ready to collide? Time for some action. Black pride flowing all through my veins. I think it's time to change my name like Cash. Do anything to protect my family. Got me standing by this window like Malcolm. By any means, yeah, I'm ready for the madness. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. My reaction. Put your fists in the sky, who's ready to collide? Time for some action. Come on, come on.
The New Jersey State Police and other law enforcement officials say they want to see me brought to justice. But I would like to know what they mean by justice. Is torture justice? I was kept in solitary confinement for more than 2 years, mostly in men's prisons. Is that justice? My lawyers were threatened with imprisonment and imprisoned. Is that justice? I was tried by an all-white jury without even the pretext of impartiality and then sentenced to life in prison plus 33 years. Is that justice? Let me emphasize that justice for me is not the issue I am addressing here. It is justice for my people that is at stake. When my people receive justice, I am sure that I will receive it too.
Time to do what? Revolution. Holy Jesus. Getting a little out of my league now. Is that what you're gonna say when the revolution comes? When it's time to pick up a gun? What you know about weapons? I'm qualified to handle a 45, an M16 rifle, 38 caliber pistol, and the Russian AK-47.
She said she never heard a shotgun bang close range. Never ever. The adrenaline that rushed through her veins got her feeling like a Sodom when she shot it. Now our guns sing together, revolutionary opera. Low choppers got her working on a group and making sure that it ain't proper. Certified headshotter. No ammo was wasted. Got her fro picked out like she's Angela Davis. Pistol waving, swear my queen is amazing. Exquisite flavor. I just wanna taste the conversation. We Sabios. Said she love my vibrations coming out the radio. Takes it to another level, get her high on self-empowerment. Embrace the natural beauty, now she really feels what power is. Black fists held high up in the sky. Yeah, we some black guys, the white devil is alive. She's my melanated masterpiece, a beauty so divine. Strongest pieces on the board, be the queen that's by my side. So let's ride, windows tinted, guess who winning, looking vintage. Guess who? Locks draping my shoulder, living my vision. Manufacturing black economics till we independent. She's my Betty Shabazz, let's make a difference. Coretta with a Beretta, Harriet in my chariot. The bond that we building is stronger than any marriage. Because I know you got my back through whatever shit. She's strong, black, and beautifully intelligent. A masterpiece.
Time to do what? Revolution. Holy Jesus. Getting a little out of my league now. Is that what you're gonna say when the revolution comes? When it's time to pick up a gun? What you know about weapons? I'm qualified to handle a 45, an M16 rifle, 38 caliber pistol, and the Russian AK.
She used to ask me like, what's the extra water for? A curious mind, so yes, I taught her more. Practice preparation, baby, look, we gotta stay ready, yo. So we don't have to get ready. Tune in the radio, frequency, she speak to me. Keep me balanced, equal ratio. She shine like the moonlight, and even in the day she glows. Black rose, she arose to the throne. The queen for this king, I propose. Black love, yeah, solid like gold. Give you pure black power, revolutionary flows. And she knows that I'm focused on our people till my vocal cords no longer produce notes. I give you nothing but these quotes. Inspiration for the adolescents, young gods in my presence. They feel your melanin, you smell the essence. I feel the tension in the air, you can't neglect it. All I see is power when I stare at my reflection. As long as you make the effort, it's all about progression. Learn a lesson. This medicine I wrote up, stop the stress and our connection. Is a universal bond of perfection. Check it, moving all across the board, regardless of complexion. Yeah.
Time to do what? Revolution. Holy Jesus. Getting a little out of my league now. Is that what you're gonna say when the revolution comes? When it's time to pick up a gun? What you know about weapons? I'm qualified to handle a 45, an M16 rifle, 38.
The God who created the earth, who created the sun that gives us light, the God who holds the oceans, who make the thunder roar, our God, who has ears to hear, you who are hidden in the clouds, who watch us from where you are. You see all that the white has made us suffer. The white man's God asked him to commit crimes, but the God within us wants to do good. Our God, who is so good, so just, he ordered us to avenge our wrong. It is he who will direct our arms and bring us to victory. It is he who will assist us. We all should throw away the image of the white man's God, who is so pitiless. Listen to the voice for liberty that sings with all our hearts.
Niggas don't die, don't die. I said niggas don't die, don't die. I said niggas don't die. The livest ones, the livest ones. Niggas don't die, don't die. I said niggas don't die, don't die. We keep our heads up to the clouds and our feet up on the ground, cause my niggas gon' forever hold it down. I said niggas don't die. See, niggas don't die, we just multiply. Ain't afraid of death, look the enemy straight in his eyes. Since we the ones who been here since the beginning, we'll be the ones with popcorn feet up when the world is ending. But this is just the beginning, all we are not finished. Ancestors set the ball in motion and we still with it. I'm still living my life as an African on a mission. No time for division, not playing with my competition. When you came out of the caves, you ain't have a pot to piss in. Until we civilized you, my people realize that you are being lied to. You are kings and queens, yet they're trying to disguise you as pawns and peasants. This juju life is what I am repping, cause I'm in the business of racing head until it's heaven. Go get the reverend, tell him it's an eclipse in the sky and that Turner's alive. Why? Cause niggas don't die. I said niggas don't die. I said niggas don't die. The livest ones, the livest ones. Niggas don't die. I said niggas don't die. We keep our heads up to the clouds and our feet up on the ground, cause my niggas gon' forever hold it down. I said niggas don't die. See, niggas don't die, we just multiply like the roaches that's in your sink. For every one you kill, there's another 16 and another reason for me to keep spitting these 16s. This shit's mean, look at the shit they did in the Congo, yet you still seeing Palo. Look at the shit that they did to the juju man, but it don't matter cause I'm a modern day dirty book, man. Look, man, flail in my left, crook inside of my right hand. Ancestors lead me by my right hand to what's right, man. Separate me from the bullshit like 2 words and a hyphen. I ain't scared to take a life, man. I've been sacrificing. That's why I'm always in the kitchen sharpening my blades. I got coconuts, fruits and vegetables and herbs inside my plate. So when I go do the same, when I meet my demise, put smoke in the sky. Yeah, don't cry, I'll be back, cause niggas don't die. I said niggas don't die. I said niggas don't die. The livest ones, the livest ones. Niggas don't die. I said niggas don't die. We keep our heads up to the clouds and our feet up on the ground, cause my niggas gon' forever hold it down. I said niggas don't die.
This is a homage beat.
When you're searching for your angels, you gotta watch from different angles. You
can't trust everybody nowadays. I guess that's just how the game go. But I stay up top like a Kango. Old school hip hop where I came from. So no, we don't do the same things. Nah, we don't make the same songs. See, my songs is uplifting. Damn, the boy is so gifted. So what the fuck he look like? Not sharing what he has inside of his vision. I am not one for division. I am not one for division. I am one more for addition. And it's about time for precision. Cause this nation building time right now. And I ain't just talking about the queens, I'm gon' pipe down. If you ain't in the street, then you need to pipe down. If you ain't in the street being feed for what the people need right now, then you need to pipe down. Right now, you be headed for a lifeline. See, I probably got these people asking me right now, am I inside of my right mind, breaking all these mic lines, spitting all these hot lines? I guess that I'm just the truth when I'm inside of the booth, hanging with all of my niggas, and it's not one single noose. I'm here to change the whole rap game, and take fame away from you whack lanes. See, this right here is not a campaign, it's a revolution. Let freedom ring like Martin Luther King. And we gon' get that shit by any means. That mean red beams for my enemies.
This is a homage
I
beat.
weigh my bars on these triple beams and proceed to light the track up like a switch is sweet. Just know however you painting me, paint all that African paint in me. And whatever paintbrush you using, dip it in the blackest paint that paint can be. This ain't a zoo, nigga, ain't no taming me. Hell's fire couldn't match the flame in me. So when Jesus come back, I'ma spit in his face and tell his bitch ass it ain't no saving me. Family probably thinking that I'm sinning. So when my mama hit this, I just prayed it I'm forgiven. Cause my family taught me to always respect women, and they did all that there without religion. So best keep your eyes on your missus. My juju be working so vicious. You open your eyes, she dead by my side, she quiet and ain't no more bitching. Probably thinking how we did it. Second question, what roots you be mixing? I'ma have to tell you to stay in your lane, cause all of that be my business. But if you really about division, want the static and the friction, then hop on my line and try to touch mine. I promise that you'll be a witness. Blah!
This is a homage beat.
I bow on my shrine when I go to sleep. As soon as I wake up, praying for a strong grip on this sword I'ma take up. For the lies I'ma break up, for the world I'ma shake up. Giving thanks for every breath that I'm given when I take one. Cause we hold these truths to be self-evident. Taji's flow will never be retarded by impediments. It's evident he's heaven sent here to wake up the residents of Babylon. With the science of the Dogon, he's so gone. 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons. That's why his personal space radius is so long. He dropped his old friends and ace so long. But I ain't tripping cause I got a queen asking me why my dick is so long. I said, Mendigo, baby, that's the try, girl. You never been to the ethers, come take a ride, girl. And she say, Taji, you move a little fast. I tell her, baby, we ain't doing nothing but a light year times 80. But I can take you back, send cold for that ass. Take you back to when we started making soap with ash. Take you back to when the Muslims started smoking hash. And when we taught them dirty Europeans how to wash their ass. But don't be mad, I only speak the truth. You don't believe me, read the walls and you will see me do. But I'm mad, I gotta remind you, dude, cause I feel like Stevie Wonder had already told you fools. And that just goes to show niggas just don't listen. Cap to throw you the point and you niggas were still missing. You're a soldier for what cause? Seems you need a new mission. Follow me and see I'm Garvey and I leash true vision. I do this shit only for one reason. To wake up all the dumb, the deaf, blind, and the sleep. And I've been so far gone and this my comeback season. Crucify your God and then tell you who to believe in. And it's you, nigga. That's the truth, nigga. When times get hard, look what you do, nigga. Between a rock and a hard place, I guarantee I'll drop a stack that mountain you will move, nigga. You ain't got no savior. Why? Cause you the one that's gotta save you. You can rock 2 chains and say you different, but if it's not making a difference, nigga, what the fuck you came for? Hope it ain't harming me. If that's the case, then I'm snatching guns. I'm an armory, pushing bullets through arteries, snatching souls in this robbery. Body looking like artistry, you don't wanna see that part of me. Why? Cause you rather see the God in me. The Elohim causing catastrophic anomalies in any self-proclaimed MC who feels like jocking me, but they don't want the problems when voodoo is my biology. I call Lil Goon up when it's wartime. He tell me to spark mine when it's wartime. Then Celine and Louverture hit me up and said give them blood if they want it, even if they want mine. So that's exactly what I'ma do. But simultaneously preaching gospel like I'ma do. But simultaneously giving my Egunadi move so they work on my behalf and bless everything that I'ma do. When the spirits talk, you listen. With 3 eyes open, I can see the picture vivid. I was sent to this earth with a mission, and I'll be damned if I see the gates of the grave before that motherfucker's finished. Reciting Ogunda Mechi, soaking the lessons. Baba Oguni Niri, the owner of all blessings. Presenting you offerings, knowing I'ma get tested, cause heavy is the crown of the king who carries the weapon. The weapon, the weapon, the weapon, the weapon. The weapon, the weapon, the weapon, the weapon, the weapon. The weapon, the weapon, the weapon, the weapon, the weapon. The weapon, the weapon, the weapon, the weapon.
Unlike America would have us believe, the greatest problem confronting this country today is not pollution and bad breath. It's black people. It's black people. See, that's just one of the big lies that America tells you and that you go for because you chumps. You go for it. One of the lies that we tell ourselves is that we are making progress. But Huey's chair is empty. We're not making progress. We tend to equate progress with concessions. We can no longer make that mistake. You see, when they gave us that nigger astronaut, you say we were making progress, but I told you they were going to lose him in space. He didn't get that far. You put Adam Powell in office and you couldn't keep him. What you think they're going to do with Thurgood Marshall when they get tired of him? They gave you Walter Washington of Washington, D.C., and you said we were making progress. That's not progress. See, it's no in between. You're either free or you're a slave. There's no such thing as second-class citizenship. But a lot of you running around talking about you Democrats, and the Democrats got you in the biggest trick going. They tell you it ain't our fault, it's the Dixiecrats. There's no such thing as a Dixiecrat. The only difference between George Wallace and Lyndon Johnson is one of them's wife got cancer. That's the only difference. You go for it because you chumps. You go for it. The only thing that's going to free Huey is gunpowder, black powder. That's no victory, that's a concession. When black people become serious about the revolutionary struggle that they are caught up in, whether they recognize it or not, when they begin to go down and knock off people who are oppressing them and begin to render these people impotent, that's when the revolutionary struggle unfolds. Not until. We have to recognize who our major enemy is. The major enemy is not your brother, flesh of your flesh and blood of your blood. The major enemy is the hunky and his institutions of racism. That's the major enemy. That is the major enemy.
And whenever anybody prepares for revolutionary warfare, you concentrate on the major enemy. We're not strong enough to fight each other and also fight him. We will not fight each other today. We will not fight each other. There will be no fights in the black community among black people. There will just be people who will be off. There will be no fights. There will be no destructions. We are going to be united. We must begin to develop, number one, and this is the most important thing we can do as a people. We must first develop an undying love for our people, our people, our people, our people. We must develop an undying love as is personified in Brother Huey P. Newton. Undying love for our people. Undying love. If we do not do that, we will be wiped out. We must develop an undying love for our people. Our slogan will become, first, our people, then, and only then, me and you as individuals. Our people first. Our people first.
Huey Newton is the only living revolutionary in this country today. He has paid his dues. He paid his dues. How many white folks you killed today? But you revolutionaries, you are revolutionaries. Che Guevara says it's only two ways to leave the battlefield, victorious or dead. Huey is in jail. Johnson can always sit up and talk about, he can always raise an argument about law and order because he never talks about justice. But black people fall for that same argument and they go around talking about lawbreakers. We did not make the laws in this country. We are neither morally nor legally confined to those laws. Those laws that keep them up keep us down. You got to begin to understand that. And in ending, I want to end in the Swahili saying. It says, Lasima tusinda bila shaka, which means we shall conquer without a doubt. Black power.
And so in talking about Brother Huey Newton tonight, we have to talk about the struggle of black people, not only in the United States, but in the world today, and how he becomes part and parcel of that struggle, how we move on so that our people will survive America. Therefore, we are not talking about politics tonight. We're not talking about economics tonight. We are talking about the survival of a race of people. That is all that is at stake. We are talking about the survival of black people. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing. And he will consciously wipe us out. He will consciously wipe us out. Let us check World War II. He will not do it unto his own. Notice who he dropped an atomic bomb on. Some helpless yellow people in Hiroshima. Some helpless yellow people in Hiroshima. If you do not think he's capable of committing genocide against us, check out what he's doing to our brothers in Vietnam. Check out what he's doing in Vietnam. We have to understand that we're talking about our survival and nothing else. Whether or not this beautiful race of people is going to survive on the earth. That's what we're talking about. Nothing else. Nothing else. If you do not think he's capable of wiping us out, check out the white race. Wherever they have gone, they have ruled, conquered, murdered, and plagued. Whether they are the majority or the minority, they always rule. They always rule. Always rule. And check out the pattern in which they move. They came to this country. They didn't know a damn thing about this country. The red man showed them how to adapt to this country. He showed them how to grow corn. He showed them how to hunt. And when the Indians finished showing it, he wiped them out. He wiped them out. He wiped them out. He was not satisfied. He went to South America. The Aztec Indians said, this is our silver. This is our copper. These are our metals. These are our statues. We build them for the beauty of our people. After the Indians showed it to him, he took it and he wiped them out. He wiped them out. He's been able to make us hate each other. He has transplanted that hate and the love for each other for a love of his country. His country. We came to this country as black men and as Africans. It took us 400 years to become Negroes. Understand that. That means that the concept of a black man is one who recognizes his cultural, his historical, and the roots of his great ancestors who were the greatest warriors on the face of this earth. Africans. 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 Many of our people's minds have been whitewashed. If a Negro comes up to you and you turn your back on him, he's got to run to the hunky. We're going to take time and patience with our people because they're ours. They're ours. All of the Uncle Toms, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. And when they slap, we're going to bow. And when they slap, we're going to bow. And we're going to try to bring them home. And if they don't come home, we're going to off them. That's all. That's all. The 3 M's, the missionaries, the money, and the Marines. That is precisely the way it's moved all over the world. It is the way it moves against us. They have sent the missionaries in. We sent them out. They have sent the money in with the poverty program. The Vietnamese and the Koreans are pulling the money out. The next thing comes the Marines. Comes the Marines. And if we're talking seriously, we get prepared for the Marines. Now, if some black people do not think that the white man is going to wipe us out completely, then it won't be no harm being prepared just in case he decides to do it. Just in case he decides to do it. So there'll be no harm in us preparing ourselves for the Marines. Now, there's a lot of tactics we can learn. The VC is showing us the best way to get it done. Best way to get it done. And don't be afraid to say it. Tell them, yeah, you want the Vietnamese to defeat them because they're wrong from the jump. They're wrong from the jump. They're wrong. They're wrong. Don't get up there and play games with them. You ever see them on TV? Well, actually, we were wrong going into Vietnam, but we can't get out unless we save face. Just to save that hunky's face, millions of Vietnamese got to die. That's a lot of junk. If you're wrong, say you're wrong and get out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
It's family business. Young Yacht on the beat. See me around them. They motherfucking family. Believe that. VMC. Pew, pew, pew. In the trunk, that thumper. On my side, that folder. Yes, no disrespect to my Nina, cause my two games so sporty. If it starts with a letter, better believe it's a keeper. RPG around the barrel, that's why I call it a reaper. So please don't try to run, the missiles will he see you. It will be a close casket, in the words from the preacher. He was at a funeral last week, but the words didn't reach him. Should've made the words to a rap song and bumped through some speakers, so I keep it on 100. No percent of talk about Trump. Yes, sir. It'll beat it up from the back trying to run. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. They say hate is like a drug. If you do it once, you do it again. I really ain't got time. Been a cut counting these Benjamins with no money. Count on my hands, do just fine. You believe in this body bag if you choose cross that line. It's a thin line between love and hate, so I left them on flat line. It's a thin line between love and hate, so I left them on flat line. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds.
By VMC, we handle our biz, so I know by now you know what it is. And if you do not, I'ma let you know this. We bumping through speakers, you're running your lips. Wait, freeze, hold up, stop. The big man on campus, you know that it's rock. No, I ain't new to this, ain't with no foolishness. You wanna throw your balloon and get popped. Don't really care if you like me or not. Climbing the ladder, you straight to the top. Feel a gorilla, ain't throwing no barrels. I'm loading them barrels, one lick off a shot. No, I am no sparrow, my eyes on the knot. Counting for the fam, put it in the pot. I'm in Nirvana, when blessing the mic. When I'm on the road, you know I'm a rock. When you hear that Huey, yeah, you know that's QC. I'm coming down the lane like a freight train. Yeah, 2, 3. King James and y'all lanes in the back of your sweat seat juicy. Y'all paperweight, that's loose leaf. I'm 2 stacks, that's 2G, and I'm gone.
Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Black power up, and your power ain't like insufficient funds. Yeah, level up daily. Yes, sir. Fuck you, payment. This shit ain't gravy, man. We walk this shit every day. Not a trend, not a fad. Never. Stand on that square. Be about this family business, hear me? Always. Kings and gods and goddesses. Queens. We the greatest. RBG Nation. Greatness walking. Black first. Fuck all the talking. Rock VMC.
have a disease and there's a disease in your community, the first thing that you do is that you find the people who are not affected and you separate them from the people who are affected. You quarantine the people who are affected and you keep them away from the people who have not been infected yet. You make sure that these folks are safe. Then you maybe try to deal with this if it's possible to cure this. Because of the nature of our insanity, our mental side in this society, we're focused on these people while these people are still being infected. We haven't set up the barriers because we are afraid to establish those barriers because we know that those barriers go against what Europeans want. They want this to happen. And we realize that whether it's at a conscious or subconscious level. Logically, historically, people automatically protect those who are not infected. Of course, if you see the disease as an advantage, as something that you want, then you don't think about protecting what you have. So, one of Eniya's favorite proverbs. And when I first saw this, when she first said it to me, I wasn't very happy with it because it almost seemed fatalistic. But it makes sense. I grew up in a house where my mother would tell me, because I wanted to save the world, she would always tell me, well, you're going to have casualties in every war. Okay? So our job, because of the nature of this, because of the magnitude of this problem, is to give the warning for those who have the capacity to understand, who have the capacity to listen, who have the capacity to think. Everybody doesn't have that. Some people's mental side is so deep that they cannot accept the possibility of an interpretation that is not the one that they have been spoon-fed. So our job is to give the warning, knowing that some will survive. Okay. So, I don't know if I need to explain Yurugu, but I do want to read Mama Marumba. I do want to read the myth, the story of Yurugu that's presented in Yurugu by Mama Marumba. It's on the author's note for folks who may be concerned, who want to pull it out. I read this on a fairly regular basis. And this is from the Dogon people of Mali. And this is simply an explanation of the European. And we have to understand this in terms of mentality. If we look around, we can see this in action. Okay, according to the Dogon people of Mali and West Africa, Amma, the creator, ordained that all created things should be living manifestations of the fundamental universal principle of complementarity or twinness. This principle manifests itself as the wholeness which is created when male and female and male pairs join in all things. Such pairing establishes equilibrium, cooperation, balance, and harmony. Amma therefore equipped each being with twin souls, both female and male at birth. But in one of these primordial placentas, the male soul did not wait for the full gestation period to be born. This male being was known as Yurugu, who arrogantly wished to compete with Amma, God-vying, and to create a world better than that which Amma had created. With his fragmented placenta, he created Earth, but it could only be imperfect since he was incomplete, that is, born prematurely, without his female twin soul. Realizing that he was flawed and therefore deficient, Yurugu returned to Amma, seeking his complementary female self. But Amma had given his female soul away. Yurugu, forever incomplete, was doomed to perpetually search for the completeness that could never be his. That last sentence that I just read, that's to me is the most important statement in terms of the ceiling. We spend so much time thinking that we can change something that can't be changed. That's for most of us, that's an impossible thought. except when it comes to our ability to become empowered and to become sovereign. Then it becomes an impossible thought. But the idea that Yurugu is forever incomplete, can never find completion, will forever be fragmented, will forever be looking to find itself, to be able to feel something, some emotional content, okay? Forever incomplete, to perpetually search for the completeness that could never, 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 never means like never be his. What we're witnessing, especially with this homo and the femme thing, that's not a universal, that's a universal. And we need to have terms that distinguish that. I've talked to a number of quote unquote scholars, I should say quote unquote because there are scholars in terms of their job description, and they have dismissed this homosexuality is an issue having to do with our revolution, our liberation. It's not something that we need to be bothered about. It's not something that has an impact. Some whose names you would know. In fact, one of our friends took one of my books to a very large scholar in the quote-unquote African Center community. And this individual looked at the book and dismissed it, put it on the shelf. Said he'll get to it whenever he happens to have some spare time, which of course told me a lot because of the way that he said it. But they're making the argument that this doesn't have anything to do with anything. When we look at it that way, we have to understand that these individuals are not fighting for the liberation of African people where we become solvent following the tradition of our ancestors. These individuals are approaching revolution as if we are just angry, dispossessed people trying to get what they have. So the problem isn't that we're different. The problem isn't that we're following somebody else's traditions. The problem is that we don't have the things that they have. We don't have the toys that they have. So things that characterize Europeans specifically are not issues for us if we adopt those, because as long as we get the things, if we adopt those, and those things are irrelevant. So anything that characterizes Europeans, particularly in this case, homosexuality, shouldn't be an issue for us because it's got nothing to do with the things that are supposed to make for equal people or make us more powerful. So it doesn't make a difference if we become somebody else as long as we become powerful. I have obviously major issues with that. Revolution doesn't or shouldn't have that kind of selectivity. You don't make those kind of choices. Any people on this planet, I've told this time and time again, any people on this planet who've come to power, they follow the traditions of their ancestors. Every people who has come to power, they're following the tradition of their ancestors. And I would argue every people who has fallen is because they have fallen away from their ancestors. They've fallen away from that path. They've fallen away from who they are, how they think. That doesn't mean that you don't wage war. That just means that you don't leave who you are. You don't leave the quality of your character. You don't change your character to fit somebody else's character because it makes you more acceptable. You lose yourself. People who come to power don't lose themselves. They maintain who they are. Their children respect them because they have not left that. We seem to be one of the really only people on the planet who has completely, totally relinquished that and is running from it as fast as we can. Greater proportion of indigenous people in this land, they're fighting to hold on to their traditions. You see some of us drum dance, maybe this book here, blah, 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 but there's a significant number of them who are fighting to maintain their traditions. We're not doing that. Or the traditions that we're fighting to maintain, they're European traditions because we're talking about stuff that occurred since our enslavement in this land. So we are, just like we're redefining homosexuality as manhood, we're redefining our traditions to fit something that won't pit us against these people who want to be self-integrated. What is meant by feminization? I think I've been asked that question in terms of this discussion more than any question. What is a feminization? The feminization, we're talking about African males. We're talking about boys here primarily. We're talking about boys who are modeling their behavior on the ideal within the European media mind of a little white girl who is spoiled, who is silly, who is selfish, who is defenseless, who is constantly looking for attention from grown men. That is the model of what this effeminate male is doing. And you see them everywhere, looking for attention, running through the mall, flaming so that they can be seen. Looking for the attention, looking to be protected. So this is not something that, even today, I don't see this among little black girls. I didn't see this when I was coming up among little girls. They didn't act like this. They were even the most spoiled. We're not that silly. We're not trying to be that loud. We're not trying to get all of this attention. Not trying to be seen, not trying to show off as far as possible some feminine trait or what they defined as feminine trait. Taking it to an extent, even their voices didn't sound like that. I can't take that sound, but didn't sound like that. They were not like that. So this effeminization is turning our sons into their daughters, homosexualization, turning our sons into their daughters, turning our sons into individuals who know war no more, who don't know how to conceive of a fight. Their job is to find somebody who will protect them in a fight. So you can imagine two groups of men battling, and then these effeminized males waiting to see who wins so they can go and run to whoever's going to protect them. That's a pretty sad state. Francis Chris Welsing kept bringing out the point very well. You remove our men from the battlefield, it's over. That's not to say that our sisters can't fight. I've had this discussion a lot of times. And I don't mean this in a funny way, but when a sister draws her hand back, you better move, because whatever's coming is going to hurt. I remember seeing this thing, and this is the kind of women who I grew up with. They were soft, kind, gentle, loving, but you don't come anywhere near their children, they will mess you up. I remember watching this news program, and they did a video online where this brother, and I mean, this was a large brother, and they showed him laid out on, you know, they lift up the ambulance beds. They showed him laid out on this ambulance bed. He had a neck brace on, and his eyes were closed. It wasn't like sleep, drug. No, this brother was unconscious. And they were interviewing the woman who, this was a hairdresser shop. And they were interviewing this woman who had done this to him. He had come in this place with a knife, and he was going to rob this place. And this woman was about this tall. Sister, I don't know what she did to him. I'm glad it wasn't me, or whatever she did to him. I look back at the picture. This brother was large, out cold with a neck brace on. So I don't know what happened, but like I said, no one can sit here and tell me that sisters can't battle. And we can look at our story also and just see in general. Okay, this is what we do. So this model that they are trying to follow is not that of our sisters. And as Francis Chris Welsing, as well as many others have said, European men fear other men. So if you want to defeat a people, then you turn their men into women as defined by Europeans. And then the discussion is over. And when we look at what's coming up now, we see that that discussion, at least for the moment, is over. At least with most of our children. They have no idea that we're at war, and they have no idea that they're supposed to be being brought up as warriors. And obviously, many of their parents don't necessarily know that either. When we're talking about this concept of feminization, we have to be very careful when we're having these discussions, because people can undermine conclusions real easy just based upon terminology. An effeminate male is not necessarily a homosexualized male. Just like a homosexualized male is not necessarily a feminized male. So some people automatically assume that one is the same, and that's not always the case. So we need to make sure that we have two different definitions. these masculinized females are no more battle ready than the homosexualized and feminized males. And I say that because warriorhood is a mentality. Warriorhood is a way of thinking. Warriorhood is an understanding of who the enemy is. I'm not talking about just soldiers, we're talking about warriorhood. And warriorhood is based on an understanding of what you're supposed to do or what you need to do when victory is done. These individuals don't have that. They definitely don't have that. The idea that I'm sure will be put forth that if we need soldiers, that these masculinized females are credible replacements for the males who have been feminized. Okay. Oh, I've heard some doozies. So it's not just physical prowess, and an idiot, a fool can pick up a gun and pull the trigger. But you have to know who to aim at, and you also need to know when to put it away and what you have to build once the smoke clears. And these individuals do not know how to do that. I would like to really close out this discussion with a conclusion from you, Ruger's Eunuchs. I'd like to read this. In the epigraph, in the conclusion, says, "He who stands in the battlefront does not fear death." This conclusion is about folks taking a stand, which is what conclusions should be about for African-centered material. What is it that we need to do? What is it that we can do? With the understanding that there are casualties in every war, that you issue the warning some will survive. Because we have to be realistic. Or you can die at 35 trying to keep everything from happening and trying to save everybody. And then instead of you being useful until you 70, 80, 90, 120, then you get cut short real quick. And of course, that's another thing that they want. If you can remove, and this has been the process in our community repeatedly in a number of ways, to remove those individuals who defend the community. That's been the key. If they can remove the individuals who defend the community, then they can walk in and do what they want to. If we are to prevail as a people, we must return to our African sanity. Where we are, with what we have at this moment, we must organize around the heterosexual sanity of our ancestors and the universal interpretation of reality. A universal one, which makes an incompleted alien's way everyone's premier aspiration, will not do. We must return home if we are to be African. But that is wholly a heterosexual journey, because Africa can only be reborn through the cooperation between a man and a woman, not between a man and a man or a woman and a woman. That's not me. Homosexuality has no place in this rebirth. Our warriors must again become warriors of righteous substance. They must know who they are and not fear retaliation from our sworn enemies. The confused among us should pose no threat to our mission either. There is no excuse for us not protecting those who do not want to be consumed. That's, to me, an extremely important. There's no excuse. It's not like you can explain it later. It's not like when you make your transition and you go before this board of ancestors, or you go to the scale, you can say, oh, well, I couldn't do it. I was a little bit weak at the time. Those excuses are unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
Hotel, everybody, BB for Hodier, African Liberation. I want to thank everybody for coming to the motherhood class. This is what happens when you live in the West. Okay, so our daughter wasn't planned, and we're both in grad school. But I do have my Western plan. My focus is, of course, our daughter was well taken care of. In fact, we let her go to a preschool for a minute, and the teacher and it was part-time. The teacher was stuttering. She came home trying to stutter. So that was only for a brief minute. But Baba and I, both in school, you know, so we literally did this. We divided the day in 12-hour shifts. So 12 hours of the day, I was responsible for. That gave him time to do his graduate work and vice versa. Now, but because I was not in my African mind, even though I knew, and I took for granted, remember, my grandparents have 20 children. My aunt, one of them has 13 children, 6, 8 people have children. My mother had a small family of 4. So I took it for granted, you know, I need to do this, need to finish this degree. I'll have children later. Now, to Baba's credit, by the time my daughter was 4, and that would have been an ideal time. And I've recently heard in Nigeria, one of my friends who goes there regularly said they space the children at least 3 and 4 years apart. But anyway, that would have been ideal, but I hadn't finished my program. And when you don't get married the right way, I wasn't secure in the marriage. And I'm thinking, this is not looking good here. And remember, my mom was twice divorced. So really, I'm operating, well, because Baba's like, okay, it's now or never. And I'm like, okay, that might be never to myself. It might be never for you. However, you know, it's probably going to be husband number 2. And I'll do, you know, have a set of children later. But in the West, you know, sometimes delay ends up being, so you have one plan, but 2020 hindsight, when you get into your African mind, once our daughter was born, the number one priority, she was our number one priority from the perspective of her being cared for and loved. But part of that should have been, she needed siblings. Now, I was not worried about that because there were 2 other Black graduate families right on our floor. So she had playmates. So I'm not thinking, you know, but you're not, you know, when you're not thinking in your African, your thinking is confused. But needless to say, so we did not set out saying, oh, we want one child. In fact, I recommend that people, unless, you know, you've been given spiritual guidance that you shouldn't have more than one, that ideally children need siblings. And, you know, it's hard on that child. So even though our child, she's, you know, social butterfly. So whenever she's in school, so she's always, you know, playmates. However, those children go home and she comes home to the adults and there are no children there. And an additional problem to that is then, of course, mommy, you know, tries to be playmate, but then for a little child, then they, you know, they think of you as play. Now, hold up, wait a minute, my sister, mommy plays with you, but I'm not really, you know, you have to put those, boundaries there, but definitely. So I am not happy with my story, but I think and I hope I share it with people to try to prevent other women from not following that mistake. Let me quickly go through some notes. My blessings of motherhood. If for any of my sisters out there who may question whether they want children, of course, you know, our beliefs, children are the creator's reward. So that's a given. So to be blessed and in a world where many women cannot have children, it is a reward to be a mother. And for our daughter in particular, it was her conception that literally brought Rudy and I to marriage. And it was a major factor in our staying married. And unlike in the West, you know, Mama, they say, you shouldn't stay together for the children. I've come to believe, wait a minute, what else? That's from the African tradition. You get together, bring families together to have children. Why not stay together for the children? And I really believe if you, and this is our story, if you, in our case, even though I believed in divorce, I think the ancestors allowed me to see my beautiful little baby girl frowning like a 29-year-old man, her father, and that scared me. And because I'm like, oh, she has her father's spirit. I am not going to be able to, and I mean, this is for real. I'm not going to be able to raise her by myself because I'm not that strong, which her father is. And that's she needed us both. But she needed the discipline of her father. So that was a reason to stay together. So that's about 18 years. When you're there, hey, hang tough. You can have a 20th anniversary party celebration, and we did. And by that time, when they're grown and you see sometimes they're making their own decisions and what you think and feel are very insignificant, the spouse that you question, would you stay with, looking better all the time. He might be more reliable. I don't know if I'm going to be able to rely on her to be at my side through thick and thin. And then, then the grandchildren come and mama, how wonderful. Yes, how wonderful that is. And of course, when they have that first grandchild, they present the grandchild to you and they think they can we give you a child. And they feel they can do no wrong. You should, no complaints whatsoever. We have given you a grandchild. Okay, but I mean, definitely, it's a reason to stay there. And then I'm definitely enjoying and even trying to take care of babies. Okay, I got diapers going on. Brody! So yes, he's still having to, yes, we got to do this together. And one of my favorite memories of our first grandchild, Brody seeing the baby for the first time, and his back, he has back issues. His back is killing him. So he asked me for some Tylenol. So I'm thinking I'm going to hand him Tylenol and water, and just for a minute, because I already held the baby and all that. So he's going to be over there, and I'm going to get the baby a second time, just for a minute. And no, he sits there, opens his mouth. I'm putting Tylenol on, and he has Jalea against his chest, and that's one of my favorite memories of Rudy. And that's as grandparents, But anyway, so you get to enjoy grandparenthood together. But so definitely, she was a reason for our marriage, reason for our staying married. Through her, we needed an education for her, and we did not want her to be miseducated. Thus, in our search, we found an African Center School in Chicago, a new concept. Her first school, and that introduced us to the African way. And through them, when we're about to move to Atlanta, so we know about CB, Black Independent Schools, in their directory, we found there was an African Center School in Atlanta. So we moved to Atlanta already. There's an African Center School for her. We found the African community village here. Mm-hmm. All of that resulting from this unplanned child, the blessings that come. And when you're trying to plan your life according to Western norms, missed a very important part of my story. Being raised by my mother and the women of Black women of that time, I was taught you never have an abortion. And at this time, because I was born in 85, so Black women are having abortions. But for me, that was not an option. It wasn't a thought, it was not an option. And it wouldn't have mattered what, if he didn't want to get married and you hear the stories of the man handing over money, that wasn't an option. Because what was an option, and one thing about old school Black mothers, you can always come home. So I would have been able to come home, no problem, and my mother would have helped me as well as the rest of my family village. But one of the best things she taught me, so whereas some women have to deliberate, and if we listen to the Alice Walkers and all these Black feminists, that's not it. That's not Africa. That's not us. We value life, and people went to great extents, if they couldn't have children, in an effort to have children. So that was a major blessing. So even though I wasn't obedient in all matters, because if I had been obedient, I would have waited till I got married and I would have had all of that going on. the one child that we had, when we needed an African Center high school for her, there wasn't one in our area. We decided to homeschool her, which turned into, it was not the plan, Anka-Ben Institute 15 years ago. This child, while we're doing Anka-Ben Institute, Brother Baruti, when you're teaching, it can be difficult to have time to write. Brother Baruti writes, well, he had written a book on chess, but what's the second book? Excuses, yes, Excuses, but he writes that book, and from that point forward, the books have been flowing so that now he has 19 books, and not to mention the videos and, you know, the work that is being done. All of that can trace back to this child that we did not abort, that we were not excited about, believe you me. But you know, you don't, and if she was indeed and is a reward, and now, you know, has given us so and she embraces the notion of family and is raising the children, and we've been blessed through the additional community sons and daughters. So even though we only had one child, we have been very blessed that some of you sitting in the audience, we have these grown children, and we didn't have to go through pregnancy, labor, childbirth, and, you know, they bring us joy and they help us do our work. You know, just a beautiful thing. To the last class, the sisterhood class of the womanhood course this summer. This is absolutely beautiful to me, and this is so touching. Whatever year ago, thankfully it was some years ago now, but my daughter goes to Zimbabwe. Now, I love Africa, but this is my child going to Zimbabwe. She's going with her friend, to stay with someone that they have not known long, who lives over there. They don't have a lot of money, so you're going to stay with someone, you've met them, you don't know, okay, mom not happy, okay, but they get there. We knew they had to go to Azania, South Africa first. And so we didn't expect that we would hear from her immediately. But as a mother, those of you who are mothers, okay, I'm counting days. And of course, Baruti, he knows I worry. So he's, you know, oh yeah, he's shrugging me off. Okay, but then Baruti got worried. And so if he gets worried, then my worry, it goes, you know, yes, because I'm not tripping because he's worried too. But actually I went to a spiritual celebration, and at this point, I don't remember how many days, but the pressure is getting to me. This is my child. My sister friends, and I'm thinking of two of them, and it's, you know, just my visual image. Of course, I couldn't see it because I'm in the middle of this. I'm surrounded by these sisters, so I'm, you know, pray for my child. But not that short, but you know, they're short. And one is short and pregnant, and she's trying to, because you can get to the point when you worry about your child or anything where you physically need somebody. It's not just you need emotional support. You can physically, I almost got to the point of, I thought I would physically collapse because this is my child. I don't know if my child's alive or not. But anyway, it was so beautiful. The mamas and my short mama friends and this youngster who's pregnant, she's like 30, whatever. And I'm in my 40s because, you know, mom had transitioned. But anyway, that's beautiful when you know, our sister friends are wonderful on a daily basis. But of course, thankfully, she was fine. And in fact, I heard, so I don't know if our prayers, joint prayer, I believe in that. We taught, it's one thing for you to pray solo and your prayers, solo prayers can be heard, but there's strength in numbers. But so I did hear from her the next day. But anyway, having my sister friends, major, because it's bad enough if your child is doing something that you don't like. That's one kind of worry. But if you don't know if your child is alive, that's a whole nother thing. I hope nobody ever experiences that. But anyway, that's sister friends. Sister friends make a difference.
I'm curious.
Oh, some bad examples, some things we don't want our sisters to do. Ooh, first and foremost thing that came to mind, the sisters who have affairs with their sisters, man, when I'm from the generation, that was just understood that you would not do that. Or even, for example, when I was in college, my sister's married with children. So she had dated this guy in high school and he was handsome. And he was trying to talk to me and it was, no. And so my sister's married, so it didn't matter. This is somebody that she used to date. And even if those aren't your personal rules, let's just, be real about this. Especially today, I think I would be correct to say the majority of relationships, there's a sexual component. And that takes a relationship to a different place. Then this is not like, when I was growing up, I was in high school 3 years, dated the guy. There wasn't a sexual relationship, or in college either. That was a different time. But even I wouldn't have encouraged anybody in my family to go and date either of those guys, because if I had a 3 year, so it's still a serious bond there. And what can happen is you're putting yourself in jeopardy for some future moment. And people have a history. And people, you don't know what goes on in people's heart. Just because they're not together doesn't mean that they're still holding a flame. And I know about that from not me holding a flame, but somebody holding a flame for me years later. But nonetheless, it's true. It's just true. But it is what it is. But that happens. But of course, he doesn't have a prayer. Bob really knows about it. But so and what do you say? Yes, you could be upset if they later hooked up, but you kind of put yourself, that does not give, you do not have permission because you dated this guy and then somebody, even if it's your ex-husband, whatever, you don't have permission to cheat. So first, you shouldn't be cheating, period. And secondly, definitely not cheating with your sister's man, because it's not necessarily a husband, but if it's her man, same difference. But I think you put yourself in a situation, you open yourself to the possibility somebody's holding a torch, or it doesn't even have to be holding a torch. This sexualized society we're in, so all you need, somebody's moaning and groaning, some sadness, and somebody's comforting somebody. You need to keep ourselves out of those situations. And I would say, in terms of having gotten to my protocol, we need protocol. Like I said, when Bob Rudy's out of town, I have Bible friends, and really my Bible friends are all Barudi's friends. So we don't have these separate, which I don't think that's cool. Male-female relationships that they're not, we're sisters and brothers together, all four. And you got the ones who are married, but otherwise, I don't think women need to, I think we put ourselves in situations that can open you up to temptation and to doing things that you shouldn't do. So you know what? If you're never alone with a man who's not yours, you don't have to worry. There can be no sexual interaction, or even these emotional, the people have the emotional affairs. No, that's why you need your sister friends. Because even, I don't believe in the women and men are friends in terms of this is my best friend, or you have conversations. So you have an emotional bond with that person. So all you need, and everybody who's turning up the bottles these days, little alcohol, you said about something going on, he said, okay. I just see, for me, it's a recipe for disaster. And I think we can prevent a lot of problems by not allowing ourselves to be in those situations to begin with. Okay, I already mentioned the bad friend who wouldn't watch our daughter when Broody had back surgery. Okay, I said the sisters who have affairs. And also you shouldn't be dressing. But I think, we don't have a sense of protocol anymore. So first of all, I would say you shouldn't be hanging out here or there anyway, but definitely you shouldn't be doing that up in his face. So, I don't get, I'm very old school and I'm very proud of that. And I like old school because I see new school and it is too much for me. Of course, these sisters who look outside of their family, you have people go off to college or whatever, and they have poor family members and say, they speak Black English, and they look down on, those so-called friends, people who you think you're friends. If you live long enough, many of those people you will find out are not really your friends. So those definitely are bad examples of sisters. Those who are jealous and, they hold animosity, they don't wish the best good for their sisters. And, oftentimes people are jealous. You're jealous about what you see on the surface. You have no idea. And even if somebody is materially successful, and even if they have a good marriage and children, you don't know what it took to get them to that point or what's going on. Even you see, the surface. And even if it is very good, that's something, if you love your sister, you want the best for them. That's not something to be envious of. The sisters who are users, they're always in need. Every relationship should be reciprocal. There should be reciprocity. Otherwise, you're just being used. Right. The sisters who forget their sisters because they're in love, that is just too funny. Because statistically, you're not going to be in love with him forever. And you're going to be crying and calling your sister. Now, she may or may not have time for you if, you kind of kicked her to the curb. Now, at the same time, sisters, when we fall in love, which we shouldn't be falling, but we do that, and, we're in the clouds, and we'll give you a minute, okay, to be in the clouds, but you can't stay in the clouds, okay? Relationships have to be developed. Come back down and keep your sister friends near because you're going to need them. Even if you find Mr. Wonderful and you marry and you have a good relationship, you still need your sisters. And just minimally from the perspective, if you need to vent, your husband unless he's the exceptional man, that drives them crazy. They just want to know the bottom line. They want to know do I need to beat somebody up? What you want me to take care of? And you just need to pour your heart out. You just, you're full and you need to release. That's what your sisters are for. If you break your sister's confidence, okay, bad example. Those who lie, and not a good friend. You can't trust your friend. I have a cousin, and unfortunately, she was a liar when we were children. So, anytime she reported anything, it would not be believed until it could be verified. So, we loved her, but you can't form a close bond there.
In one of your earlier lectures, you've already said that if a sister or brother is going to take things happening in a relationship with somebody else to discuss, they should take it to someone who not only cares and loves them, but loves the other mate in the relationship too.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to discuss this thing, you got to be careful who you take it to.
Absolutely. And that's in a note again somewhere further down. You got me, but I'm saying in terms of mentioning it again tonight. But see, Bob's keeping me on point.
No, I'm just taking notes.
Okay. Of course, if you can't trust them or someone who's unreliable, because when you family is, or home is where you go when you, okay, somebody help me. How does that go? That when you need them, they have to take you in. There's a saying relative to that. I can't get the correct word.
When you have nowhere else to go, that's where you go.
But they have to, they have to take you in. That's family. So your sister, when you need her, no matter, she's got to be there. The exception being her child is in, there are some exceptions, but in general, even though you're overworked, whatever, if it's a true crisis, now if it's, she's upset with her boyfriend, husband, and this is their routine, and you've got a deadline, but I'm saying when you are really needed, you have to be there for your sister.
Three, two, one, get it. Blackberry Files Volume 7, all hood edition. That means all the hood. We need all of us. You know what I'm talking about? Street survivors, 9 to 5ers. Yeah. It's us against the slave drivers. We all need each other, baby. We all ain't thugs. We all don't tote AKs and sell drugs. And even if we was, figure out the reason why we does what we does. America never gave me a clear shot, so I'm going extra hard with this life I got. Model citizens ain't living, only gangsters and criminals are winning the game. So who can I blame if I don't get a slice of the pie? Rather get it die than be going by the book, barely making it by. Streets go eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Ain't no difference between the old and the youth. You can call it post-slavery syndrome, but without us, we all would have been gone. You got to let us sing. We all ain't stush. We all don't wear dashikis and eat mush. Give your brain a little push. Figure out the reason why we look back to Kush. America only told us a bunch of lies like black history started in slavery times. Once I found we ate, dressed, prayed, and lived different, it made sense something was missing. Had to find those facts. Trying to get my life back on track. Had to know where I came to charter the next plane. So I cut out the ignorance diligently. I'm spiritually militant and no nonsense for higher consciousness. Post-slavery syndrome. Without us, we would have been gone. So let us sing.
Yeah, from the lady side of things. Ifejai, check. Think they better than me, but I rock dreadlocks and I eat whole wheat. Said that I could never believe why they choose hard knocks when they could be free. Never has she had to compare. Living hard on the hustle, use her mind as a muscle so her vision's clear. Well written in the book, keep her nose held high as she gives dirty looks. She pull up with the range, got the kids in the back, all African here, all African names. Been blessed from the start, but what she do, she try to do from the heart. Be it every meeting, playing the part. Book smart, yeah, she down to win. They say that each one teach one. Shawty got a conscious letter of in. Yeah, it's all time for ladies living out there. Just for my girls. Hey, stage name and a strip pole, making money by the minute, so they move real slow. And they ain't taking nothing for cash. You need another favor, don't be scared to just ask. cause they didn't even ask before. She was way too young, the truth be told. She would say they took her for free. They've been doing it for years, why stop it with me? The daughter of one crew ass, got straight blonde hair, but her skin black. Grandmama told her not to be shy. Generation stuff just making it by. Used to struggle so they don't even try. Street walk, money talk, stack dividends. Need a place to call her home, homie, go and let her in. Yeah. For all my sisters in the streets. One fall, we all do the same thing. We all one blood, we all come for one soul and one big mama. We all just wanna be free. I won't throw you to the side if you don't judge me. We all just wanna live good, wanna live life right, wanna make it out the hood. DJ Jair. All in, nigga. Lady Commando, rep that red, black, green, gangsta lifestyle. Calling out bullshit when I come around. Never have you seen a little lady like this. Forever repping for my hood when I pump my fist. I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Pull a gang of cars, the city yourself. Pre-exposed to this Gary LeBoy. A lot of ladies better tell you. It's the wicked truth. Gun toting, cup on comment, and lipstick and high heel shoes. Ask about me, kid, if you wanna know. Pink hooded, bald head, gold shining through my nose. Say it's bigger than hip hop in my hood. Always up to no good. Wouldn't stop it if they could. Shit, I'm bandana dumb nigga. What say something? Down or ride on anything, front and don't say nothing. Look at me, tell me what you see. I bet I can guess. So Jet got some game like none from the west. I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Pull a gang of cars, consider yourself pre-exposed to this Gary LeBoy. I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Hey, pull a gang of cars, consider yourself pre-exposed to this. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander. Now revolution in the form of fear. I hear the cries of freedom ringing all up through my ears. Got me so born and got me thinking of ideas. Start pulling out triggers and making niggas kneel. The cowards with badges is quick to put a steal. The tables is turning and now they know the drill. We pushing pigs to the limit to see them squeal. We tell them RBG's exactly how we feel. My shit is laced with Georgia's blood up in my eye. They color it up with all them politicians cooking lies. They serve it and bag it by pump a fist up high. Put them up high. Make them believe that they the people who could fly. And so I'm leaning on this everlasting line. Gonna take this little line and flash it till they blind. One overdose and bitch I might be geeked up and I'm suited. Ready to start a riot, finding on me base and looted. I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Pull a gang of cars, consider yourself pre-exposed to this Gary LeBoy. I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Pull a gang of cars, consider yourself pre-exposed to this. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander. So if for real we don't stand up, what I'ma do about things? These niggas buck out in these streets, beats to pull out they fangs. They sad, living in the barrel, causing chaos. Bedazzled by the bling and the fame. They quick to cut off, they soul in they nose, anything goes, these rich folks crazy. Lot of shit can pop off, but I can't let it faze me. Cause the real me get it on, black and really in the zone, pumping on that Cheech and Chong. And I don't give a fuck lately, keeping cheese and drinking so my vision kinda hazy. A real lady, throw my shades on, throw my deuce, she the truth check, I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Pull a gang of cars, consider yourself pre-exposed to this Gary LeBoy. I'ma hurt a lot of feelings. Pull a gang of cars, consider yourself pre-exposed to this. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander of an army. Lady commander.
RBG Outlaw Takeoff, you know what it is. We're getting the shit in, volume 1.
Been dope, they just been sleeping. Time to get them woke like it's ammonia that you breathing. Open their eyes, see I'm no joke, I'm so heaving. I'm every day with these bars, they just binge a weekend. Far from a star boy, I'm a solar system. Twisting my pendants in the comet on the deathly mission. Obliterate everything, go back to the beginning. I'm bringing balance to this game with no scales tipping. Picking poisons and antidotes, I'm a fan of both. People know I wear a few hats, plus a lot of coats. And any weather, I'm cool as a Canadian forest. It's no competition, I'm better, like the Misty chorus. Hardest rocking, these pebbles can never be ginormous. I'm slinging things to the body to leave it extra porous. They ask why the violence, really I don't need a burner. I'm saying I get you open after all. I'm yellow over sesame, pins and pads are the weaponry. Also no never lax, so a war is never a threat to me. FNL is the army and taking over is imminent. I'm bringing out the monsters to stop it like I'm Maleficent. Whistly rhymes, but the flow is no hocus pocus. I'm uniform as a locust that crops. I got focus, I'm eating, so take notice. One taking L, take it L. Black girl magic, now you under my spell.
Well, yeah, well.
Man, I'm from the 757. Fly is a 757 VA. I'm a veteran amongst my brethren. Bred by the water, familiar with seas. Nigga, these shallow rappers, they don't even go over my knees. And I'm 5 feet, but I stand tall. The stage is a full court, and I'm ready to ball. Give me that rock, and I'm a slinger with the heart of Davis. Give a new hole for third eye so they can see greatness. Cause I've been dope. They just been sleeping. Now I got them woke with this ammonia that they breathed in. Open their eyes, see I'm no joke, I'm so heaving. Keep turning, let them in, and now they ain't never leaving. Been dope, they just been sleeping. Now I got them woke with this ammonia that they breathed in. Open their eyes, see I'm no joke, I'm so heaving. Keep turning, let them in, and now they ain't never leaving.
you can imagine. From the 41st Congress to the 56th Congress, we were involved in every one of the congressional systems or the congressional process. Senators, we were congressmen, and even B.K. Bruce of the Treasury Department, a black man, had his signature on all paper money in the United States of America. So it made no difference that a redneck camel breath, snot dipping, tobacco chewing, straw chewing, beer belly, overall wearing, peckerwood, hated niggas. Every cracker, in order to buy anything, had to spend money with a black man's signature doing reconstruction on the paper money. But when white folks got tired of niggas being in political positions of authority over them, they lined up armed white men at the door of Congress. Bishop Henry McNeil Turner of the AME Church, armed guards stood at the door of Congress and would not permit Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, a black elected public official and a congressman, to enter the halls of Congress. They stood at the door of the mayor's office. They lined armed guards up at the sheriff's office, a black sheriff elected to be the sheriff of the town. But crackers stood at the door with their guns and said, "No more nigger sheriffs in this town." And brought another big beer-bellied peckerwood with overalls on, who was the new sheriff, Big Bubba. And they said, "Nigga, Big Bubba's the sheriff here in town now. No more nigger sheriff. And if you don't get away from here, we're gonna arrest you." Judges were unseated. That's right. Senators were unseated. And night riders, Ku Klux Klan, and disgruntled, angry, egotistical white men decided that it was a period that had to be stopped, that blacks were infringing on the rights of white people. Does it sound familiar? They're talking about the angry white male today. And under charges of exaggerated corruption in politics, the poor black man was swept from political positions. It looked like a period of political prosperity. But when the white man got tired of black people being in these political positions, he drove us from these political positions. But you're running all over the place, ready to vote. Some of you with your dreadlocks, you're ready to vote. Some of you with an African name as long as North Avenue, you're ready to vote. Trying to decide which cracker you're gonna vote for. And it's not even the popular vote that determines who the president is gonna be. It's the electoral college vote that determines who the president is gonna be. And you're gonna go behind a glorified shower curtain pulling a lever, trying to decide which one of these peckerwoods you're gonna vote for. It's impossible to defend black law and not break white law. Impossible to defend white law and not break black law. The two are diametrically opposed, 180 degrees different from each other. You cannot seek freedom and independence for black people and talk integration talk with white folks. You cannot talk out of both sides of your mouth. It's impossible to do that. You cannot say we must get away from the color game and the skin game when you are black and your color and your melanin is what marks you and hooks you with the universe and links you with the spiritual, divine, universal, and cosmological order of things. You cannot say we must get away from that and say that you are defending divine law and defending black law. Right. We, brothers and sisters, must understand the very nature in which God has created us. We are righteous by nature. We are other than righteous by circumstance. It is 400 years in specific and 6,000 years in general under the white man that has put us in this condition. 400 years in specific and 6,000 years in general that causes us to break black law today. You can't say you're defending black law when you will eat anything, put anything in your body, eat whatever you saw the pecker would eat. Ham hocks might be good for the white man. Pork chops and pig feet might be good for the white man. A whole lot of meat might be good for the white man, but it's not good for your delicate system. You cannot defend white law and not offend and break black law at the same time. Remember, your law is not what is written on paper, but it is the very nature in which God has created you. And I'm happy that they asked me to say a word at least on black law. Let's go further with the subject that was given to me here tonight, dealing with revolution and dealing with war coming in America, and what the topic theme is to reflect and focus on guidelines for war. Make no mistake about it, brothers and sisters, war is coming in this country.
Yes, sir.
War is coming in this country on an escalated level. We're already in a war. We may not be at war, but we're definitely in a war. And the white man is waging warfare against us in every field, in every discipline, on every plane. It makes no difference if you're a basketball nigga. The white man is waging war against basketball niggas. A football one, a baseball one, an actor on the big movie screen or the small television screen. It makes no difference. The white man is waging war. If you worked as a janitor or a maintenance engineer on the job, the white man is waging war. He's cutting the food stamps. He's waging war. He's cutting affirmative action. He's waging war. Section 8 entitlements. He's waging war. The attack on the black student who cannot finance an education, the white man is waging war. He is working to maintain white supremacy. And all over America, they are now beginning to kill us at an alarming rate. Shoot us 25 times, shoot us 10 times, shoot us 8 times, apply a chokehold, and then when the cop, after witnesses have seen it all over the community, when the cop goes before the courts of the criminal justice system of white America, they let him go scot-free. The white man is waging war. Mark Furman said the policeman, meaning the white policeman, is God on the streets with his gun and with his badge. He is judge, jury, and executioner right on the spot. But the question is, what is the black man doing? What is the black woman doing? What are we doing to defend black law, to defend our survival here on this planet? You can read everything you want to read, and we must read. You can study everything you want to study, and we must study. You can build and develop everything that you want to build and develop. But unless you have an army to defend what you're building and developing, an enemy or a savage beast will take what you build. You must have a way to protect it. And so we must build a black liberation army.